The moment Harold Jenkins walked into the bank, no one noticed him. Just another elderly man in a faded army jacket, boots worn from years of walking, hat pulled low to hide the lines on his face. But beneath that quiet exterior was a war hero. 2 tours in Vietnam, 1 Purple Heart, and a heart full of memories that still woke him in the middle of the night. He waited in line for 20 minutes, clutching a government-issued check in his hand. It was his VA compensation for the month. Small, but just enough to cover rent, medication, and a bag of groceries. When it was finally his turn, he approached the counter and cleared his throat. The teller didn't look up. "Name?" she asked flatly, still typing. "Harold Jenkins. I'd like to deposit my check." She took it without a word, but as she looked it over, her expression twisted. "This looks off," she said. "It's from the Department of Veterans Affairs," Harold explained. "They mail it to me every month." She rolled her eyes. "We've had a lot of fraud lately. I don't have time to verify this. If it's fake, you could be scamming the bank." Before he could respond, she reached to her left, fed the check into the paper shredder, and just like that, it was gone. Harold blinked. What did you just do?" "Next!" she shouted over his shoulder, waving the next customer forward. Harold didn't move. He couldn't. The check was gone. His lifeline, gone in seconds. "I served this country," he whispered, his voice cracking. "That was my rent, my medicine." The teller shrugged. "Take it up with the government." What happened next would be talked about in that town for years. The glass doors at the front of the bank swung open with purpose, and in walked a woman in a navy blue suit and heels sharp enough to pierce concrete. She moved like someone who didn't wait in lines. Her name, Elaine Cooper, Secretary of the U.S. Treasury, on an unannounced visit. No one knew she was coming. She was supposed to be in D.C., but her father, also a veteran, had passed away the week before, and she decided to visit the small town where he'd grown up. This bank, in fact, had been his first employer. She hadn't expected to see a line of confused customers, or a trembling old man in tears. Elaine approached Harold gently. "Sir, are you okay?" He looked up, eyes tired. "They shredded my check, said it might be fake, but it wasn't. It was all I had." The manager rushed over, suddenly pale. "Madam Secretary, we didn't expect. Please, let me explain." Elaine held up a hand. "Don't." She turned to the teller. "Did you shred this man's check?" The teller stiffened. "It looked suspicious. I followed procedure." "There is no procedure that allows you to destroy someone's financial document without verification." Elaine stepped closer, her voice low but firm. "And certainly not one issued by the very department I run." Silence fell. Then, calmly but without hesitation, Elaine said, "You're fired. Effective immediately." The teller gasped, eyes darting for backup that wasn't coming. Elaine turned back to Harold. "Sir, I'm so sorry. Please come with me." She led him to the bank manager's office, sat him down, and made a call directly to the VA and Treasury systems. Within minutes, a replacement check was printed and handed to him. But she didn't stop there. She asked Harold about his service, his struggles, and his life. And then she did something even more unexpected. She offered him a part-time advisory position on a new national initiative, Veterans' Voices, a program aimed at making government services more compassionate and accessible to aging veterans. 3 months later, Harold stood in front of a packed auditorium in Washington, D.C., sharing his story at the program's launch. His voice was steadier now, stronger, and when he finished, the room stood and applauded. He didn't smile often, but that day, he did. In a world where bureaucracy often forgets the people behind the paperwork, one man's quiet dignity and one woman's bold compassion sparked a movement that reminded us all: service should be honored, not questioned, and every act of cruelty has the power to be undone by a louder act of kindness.